Hi, welcome back to the PhotoLink Gimp tutorials. This tutorial is going to cover a contrast mask or a contrast layer. Let's use the proper terminology, a contrast layer. Quite often when you are working on a image on the screen, you're going to get it to look right on the screen, and then when it's printed, it does not carry the same feeling or the same depth over to the print that it had on the screen. The reason is the screen quite often has more dynamic range than the printer does. So when the thing goes to the printer, quite often what you'll see is the highlights will be partially cut in, as well as the shadows. So what you have to do is you have to modify that image so that it just will print a little bit better and possibly even look a little bit better on the screen. So the way that we do this is what's through a contrast layer. And I'm going to bring up my layer dialog. And what we have here is we have a dialog, we have a layer, our background layer, and we call it building. What I'm going to do is right click on this, or I can and say duplicate layer, or what I can do is I can click down here and create a duplicate layer. I'm going to name this layer going to call it contrast. And we're going to say OK. So now we have a layer called contrast. What you have in layers is you have a series of layer modes. And basically these are the ways that the layer reacts to the layers below it, how it reacts with the color. It can be transparent, it can be a mathematical formula or whatever. But without getting into that, what we're going to do now is we have this exact duplicate of the image, just a duplicate layer in a duplicate layer. And the first thing we're going to do is we're going to come up to our colors and desaturate. We're going to do it on lightness. You can try the other modes as well. And then we're going to come up to colors again, and then we're going to invert it to turn it into a negative. So basically, here's our original image, and here's a negative of that image. Now what we're going to do is we're going to change our layer mode to an overlay. And what we have now is we have an image with 100% opacity that has the highlights definitely brought out. There's increased brightness in the highlights. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to take this slider and reduce the opacity of the layer above it to get the image exactly the way I want it. So let's go through that real quick once again. I'm going to delete this layer, and we have our building layer. So I'm going to click on the building layer. I'm going to duplicate the layer. I'm going to rename the layer contrast, which renaming the layer is not absolutely necessary. And so we have a layer called contrast. So I've taken the original, I've duplicated that layer, I renamed the layer called I called it contrast. Now I'm going to come over here into colors, and I'm going to desaturate it. And we'll do it on luminosity this time. So we've desaturated that layer. So we duplicated the building, built a layer called contrast, desaturated it. Now we're going to come back into colors, and we're going to invert that layer to turn it into a negative. Okay, so that's step 2. And then, actually step 3, and then we're going to turn it into an overlay layer. And then we're going to adjust our layer with the opacity slider to bring it back to the point where we have the effect that we desire. Now the other thing that we can also operate on this contrast layer with is our levels and our curve tool to further fine-tune this operation. When we're all done, we can come up to layers and we can say merge down, and now our building retains the qualities of both. So if I do an edit, undo, merge down, here's our current, here was our original, which we definitely brought up reduce the highlights and increase the shadows. Over there's the original, there's the contrast, and we're doing under layers, we're doing a merge down to make it a single layer. And now we're ready to save it, print it, or whatever we desire. Very short tutorial, but a very powerful concept, the contrast layer. Lots more videos for you to watch, higher resolution, also much clearer on www.fotolinq.com. That's FOTOLINQ.com. And thank you very much for watching.